Hello everyone. In this video, we are joined by Saurabh, who is a senior software engineer and a mentor at Bosscoder Academy for the past couple of years. Through his experience working with 60 to 70 working professionals, he has seen a very common pattern. People put in the effort but struggle with consistency and staying in touch with the core concepts like DSA. So, in this conversation, he breaks down what actually matters in tech interviews today, how AI is really impacting hiring, and how you can approach your preparation in a more structured way. So, come, let's get into it. So, Saurabh, can you please introduce yourself and please can you tell how long have you been associated with Bosscoder?
So my name is Saurabh. I currently work as a senior software engineer at Coupang. So I've been working here for around a year now. Before this, I was associated with Cred for around 4 years, where I've built multiple platform projects as well as consumer facing products, right? With Bosscoder, it has been almost 2 years I've been here, and I have been mentoring students, and I've mentored close to like 60, 70 plus students personally, right, in my personal capacity.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. So, like you mentored like 60, 70 students or working professionals, I'd rather say. So, which is that one common thing you feel like most of the working professionals are struggling with today?
Yeah, so I had like in my tenure, right, when I've been mentoring these people, one common pattern that I've been seen from these working professionals, that they struggle with the one thing that is common across is being consistent and being in touch with DSA, right? As you start working, so your touch with DSA is lost, right? Almost lost. Like a lot of people try to maintain it, but it's very difficult. Now, when you're trying to switch a job, prepare for interviews, right? One of the most important things in tech interviews is the DSA, right? And there's a ample of resources available. There's a flood of resources all over the internet related to DSA.
Mhm.
Now, getting back in touch with DSA in a systematic manner is what they struggle with, right? And being consistent there,
Mhm.
right? So that's a common pattern that I've observed.
So, is DSA, how much of DSA is involved in a, let's say, SDE-2 level position person?
Right. So, first of all, I'll tell you why DSA is important and why companies ask it, and then I'll tell you the proportion of it in a SD2 level interview, right? So, in order to judge a candidate on the problem solving skills, most of the tech companies, good product based companies, are looking for problem solvers, right? We can throw a new problem and they can solve it easily, right? And DSA is the best way in which you can throw a different problems to them and let them solve it, right? So DSA is not something that can be learned and memorized, right? So that is why all the companies are asking DSA for their tech interviews. Now,
Mhm.
coming to your question, right, how much of the proportion, like for an SD2, how much of the proportion consists of DSA? So mostly for an SD2 role, 50 to 60%, or we can say a safe space is 50% of
Mhm.
your interview will consist of your DSA rounds, and the rest will be system design and the behavioral and hiring manager round, right? If we come for SD1 roles,
Mhm.
the proportion comes out to be 60 to 70 up to 80% as well. So companies like Google do not ask any interview of system design for SD1 as well as SD2 role, right? So it is highly dependent on the company as well. Some of the companies include DSA and system design both.
Mhm.
Some of the companies like Google include only DSA for SD1 and SD2 roles.
You talked about consistency, right? So, like, obviously, as a working professional, you would definitely relate to this that after working hours, usually we don't have much time. Like, we don't have much energy to do. We don't feel like practicing now, or maybe just sitting in front of a laptop all again because all the day we have been doing the same stuff. So, how to really be consistent with it? How to develop that mindset? What do you think?
Yeah. So again, most of the people struggle with it, right? So my personal thought around is that you need to love problem solving. If you're a techie, you need to love problem solving, and you need to start small, right? It should not be right like you're working and then suddenly you want to prepare for interviews, and from day one you start solving hard questions and or too many questions in a day, right? Start small, take up an easy question, take out just 30 minutes out of your schedule and then do it, right? Also, while preparing for interviews, you should analyze how your day is scheduled, right? Where those 1 hour, that 1 hour fits properly without any distraction. I'm pretty sure that everyone gets 1 hour in their daily schedule where they can work on something independently and without any distractions, right? So you need to find that 1 hour and you have to start small. These are the two things that everybody needs to do. Because I also, like, to be honest, I switched 1 year ago and I was all loaded with work and everything. I never knew how to start again with DSA and everything. So what I did, right, I analyzed my schedule. I just found out 1 or 2 hours in a day which was free and I was not utilizing them properly, right? So again, I got that time window and I, like, that was set into my subconscious mind. Okay, now for example, right, when you wake up in the morning, you check your emails first, right? You attend a meeting, you attend a scrum, right? So fit it into your schedule that, okay, now if this is 7 p.m. in the evening, now this is the time for my DSA question, right? So that should fit into your schedule and that should be a part of your schedule.
Great.
That is what you have to do. That it you can be easily consistent there.
So I just wanted to ask you one last question. Is that, let's say someone is preparing, like someone is having an interview now and wants to do practice mock interviews. So how should one really approach mock interviews?
Okay. First of all, you should, in your mind, right, you should remove the idea that it is a mock interview, right? So because mock interviews are there to mimic the actual interviews, right? And this is the best way to get the feedbacks, right?
Right.
So first idea that should remove from your mind is it's a mock interview.
Hmm.
I can be a little bit less prepared in it. That is not allowed, right? That should not be allowed in your head at least, right? So you're getting a idea of how the actual interview will be mimicked.
Hmm.
Okay. Also, one plus point of boss coder mock interviews is that the working professionals from various good broad-based companies who are the mentors are taking the mock interviews.
Hmm.
So for companies like Amazon, Google, any good broad-based company, they've already taken the interviews. They know the drill.
Hmm.
Okay. So in order to, and you also want to get into those kind of companies, right? So in order to understand the drill properly, you need to be like, okay, this is my interview, and I don't need to treat it as a mock interview, right? Another plus point of mock interviews is that in actual interviews you may or may not get the feedback, right? Detailed feedback, but the advantage of mock interviews is you'll get a detailed feedback and you'll get a chance to correct yourself. It's just like you are getting a second chance to do it, right? So in first chance you were facing an actual interviewer who has taken interviews in the company that you want to get into, and he's judging you and he or she is giving you the feedback. Now you need to take that feedback, and whenever you get a second chance, you should treat the actual interview as a second chance, and then you should rock it, right? And so my mantra of treating mock interviews is treat the mock interviews as the actual interviews, and collect the feedback and treat the actual interviews as your second and final chance. That's it. How it is helping students, right? Because there is plenty of resources available all over the internet, and internet is flooding with the resources, right? But the way Bosscoder is providing the systematic guidance to the working professional, right? Okay, these are the ways you can follow. Along with that, along with the resources, you always need a guidance at a personal level, right? For example, every person would be different and they need a guidance at a personal level, right? So that's where mentor sessions comes into the picture, where we spend time with the working professional or the people who are preparing for the interviews and give them the best approach and idea or the ways of preparation which is best for them, right? That is where Bosscoder is killing it, right?
So yeah, that was the session with Saurabh. Personally, for me, I think the key takeaway is it's about staying consistent with the right fundamentals. Whether it's DSA, mock interviews, or your overall approach, clarity and discipline makes the biggest difference. So if you found this helpful, let me know your biggest takeaway in the comments below. And if you want more such heartfelt conversations, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.